everyone, so as you can probably tell, this is going to be an Audrey Hepburn tutorial, and it's going to be for her look from Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's a really kind of elegant and classic hair and makeup look, and yeah, I don't know what else to say really, so let's get started. So I'm going to begin with the brows, and I'm going to be using a dark brown eyeshadow to fill them in, just a matte one. Of course, you would want it to be relative to your natural hair color unless you're wearing a wig and doing this kind of the costume look, which probably some of the people that are watching this are doing that. And I'm going to fill them in a little bit more thickly than I would if I were just doing my own brows on a daily basis, because Audrey always had relatively full brows. She had fuller, thicker brows than she did in the Breakfast at Tiffany's film, but they still were relatively full during that time, so that's what I'm just going to do. And they were also reasonably arched, so that's another thing to keep in mind, that they should be a little bit on the angular side, if your natural brow shape would allow that. And you don't want to go too over the top when you're making them a little bit thick, but just do a bit and then make sure that it looks alright. Add a bit more if you need to. I think you could use a little bit more. So now moving on to the eyeshadow, I'm going to begin by applying a base eyeshadow, and I'm just going to be using a matte ivory one for that, and I'm just going to pat it on my brow bone and lid, and it's going to act as the lid color as well as the base for that area. The next color that I'm going to go in with is just a matte beige one, and I'm just going to take that through the crease and a little bit along my lower lash line, just for a bit of definition through the crease, and for a little bit of soft color to my lower lash line. And with a smaller brush, I'm just taking a little bit along my lower lash line. So with that done, I'm just going to move on and do a little bit of highlighting of my brow bone and inner corner, and that will be the eyeshadow done. The eyeshadow for this looks really simple. Well, the whole eye makeup look, the whole makeup looks really quite simple, but quite nice at the same time, I think. Not too much, not too difficult. So now I'm going to move on and do the liner, and I'm just going to apply a line to my upper lash line and then flick it out at the outer corner. And I know I always go silent during this part, but I just find it quite difficult to do it and talk at the same time. I hope that's not too high. So that's that. Now I'm just going to take the littlest bit of liner on the same brush and go along my lower lash line. Really want to be quite precious with this amount that you put on, because you don't want it to look too intense when it's blended out. And I'm just going to blend it with a Q-tip so it's quite subtle, and maybe add just a teeny bit more. And that is basically the eyeliner done. You could put white eyeliner on the lower waterline. In some photos from sort of the film promo photos, it does look like she might have white liner, but I'm going to just skip that because I'm not entirely sure, and it wasn't there in all of them. But if you wanted to do that, feel free to do that, because it is the 60s and that was a popular thing in the 60s, white liner. So moving on to the mascara, I'm just going to curl my lashes and apply some black mascara to my upper and lower lashes. going to be doing false eyelashes in it, so I'm not too concerned about how much I get on the top as long as they're coated. As for the lower lashes though, they should be coated but not too over the top. We want to keep it relatively sophisticated looking. And the false eyelashes that I'm going to be using are these ones, which are a pair that I combined. They're a pair of 105s and Demi Wispies, both by Ardell. And you could really use any full lashes as long as they're not too over the top. I just like this combination and I think it would suit this kind of look. Because it is a little bit of a top-heavy look when it comes to eye makeup. Just pop these on and then we'll move on to the rest of the face. So this is the completed eye makeup. Now we'll move on to the rest of the makeup, and I think I'll start by setting my foundation. I'm just going to use pressed powder. And now I'm just going to do some contouring my cheekbones, jawline, and nose. And just take a smaller brush and do my nose a little bit. I think I might put a little bit on my forehead too, by my hairline. I'm trying to kind of get the hang of this, but I don't know if I'm quite there. So now I'll do some blush, and I'm just thinking that I'll use this peachy pink one, that one, as usual. I feel like it complements a lot of different looks, so I use it quite a bit. Use it quite a bit on a daily basis as well. But I should really buy a standalone blush and stop just using these two all the time. I don't know what color I'd get though. I don't know what brand. I think people think I know a lot about makeup, and I actually don't know that much about makeup. I know what I like. It's kind of main thing. So I think actually I'm going to just blend this a little bit more because I want it to be really quite subtle. So now we'll move on to the lips, and I'm not entirely sure. I don't have a lipstick that I think is perfect for this look, so I'm going to combine two. And the two that I'm going to be combining are Mauve It Over and Lover's Coral, both by Revlon. So Mauve It Over is a kind of slightly browny kind of nude, and Lover's Coral is just a coral color really. It's a little bit, tiny bit on the sheer side to be honest, but I think that it would work well with this, I hope, because I haven't actually tried them together yet. I was supposed to do it last night, but I just didn't bother. So here's to hoping that they look okay together. I'm going to start with Mauve It Over. And now I'll just layer a bit of the coral one over it. This is going to add a little bit of shine as well because it's a... what's the finish? I think it's called Shine. Yeah, it's a shine finish Revlon lipstick. And it'll add a sort of hint of pink. So that's what those two lipsticks look like together, and I think that's alright. That's pretty close to what I wanted. Oh, and I forgot to do any highlighting, so I think I'll do that. I'll just use the eyeshadow that I used on my eyes, the shimmery one. I always forget this. I don't know why, but it's just something that I very frequently forget to do, both in videos and real life. So this is the completed makeup. Now we're going to move on to the hair, which I should forewarn you, I'm not really a hair person, but I've been practicing this and hopefully can get it to look like it did yesterday when I did it, where it looked how it should. So for starters, I'm just going to brush through my hair to get rid of any tangles that I might have. And then I'm going to take a section on the side that my fringe is on, just about that much, and just pin it and clip it like that. And then I'm going to gather the rest of my hair sort of up top, like I was going to do a really high ponytail. And then kind of brush the sides so they're smoothed out. which can be a little bit tricky, but a bit of practice. I'm better at this than I was. Having done that, I'm just going to take this hair tie and put it around my hair twice. So now comes time for the hair donut, which I'm just going to place over the tie, essentially. So with that in place, I'm just going to kind of wrap my hair around it and pin it in place. This isn't going as terribly as I thought, well, as it had the potential to go. So we'll just pin everything down, make sure the hair donut is secure, which it feels like it is. Make sure all the mesh bits on it are covered. So then we'll come back to this section, which I'm just going to brush out, brush it upwards, and then I'm going to take it in the opposite direction of which it came and wrap it around the hair donut and pin it in place. And I can see a little bit sticking out in the monitor, but I'll fix that in a moment. And any bits that you might have hanging down like this one, I'm just going to take a smaller pin and kind of just pin that back here. And my fringe actually kind of works for this look lately because I've cut it recently and it's not as long as it was. So that is kind of the hair done. That's really about as good as it's going to get for me because I'm not very good with hair, like I said. And there's one more thing that you can't forget if you're going to do this look, and that is a little tiara, which I will just slide into place carefully. That's trying to come undone, so we'll just add one more pin. And I just got this on eBay from an Asian sort of wholesale jewellery shop. I think it was $3 or $4. So this is the completed look. I hope you guys like how it turned out. It was quite a bit of fun to do this one really, and I've been asked by quite a few people if I could do an Audrey tutorial, so I thought that I should, I thought it was about time that I got around to doing it, and hopefully you enjoyed it and maybe found it a little bit helpful. So thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.